Wow, wow, wow. What a game. What a game did we just watch. And Arsenal, they actually surprised me. Arteta, you actually surprised me. I thought you were going to stay deep. I thought you were going to put 10, 20, 15 players. As long as you don't concede, you're good to go. I thought that's the mentality you had. I thought that's what you were building this whole season. But no, he came to Etihad and he said, I'm going for it. Regardless of what, I'm here to win. I'm here with the intent of winning this game. And guess what? He almost did it. He almost did it. Because Manchester City versus Arsenal. This wasn't just another match. This was a title defining battle. And in the end, City came with a 2-1 winners. But trust me, the scoreline doesn't even tell the half of the story. We had early control from Arsenal. They were pressing high. They were like, I was surprised. I was like, is this Arsenal? You had the two center backs. You had Saliba and what was his name? Gabriel. They were halfway line. They were pressing. They were aggressive. They were like, Man City, what are you trying to do? We're not here to draw. We're not here to lose. They said we're here with the intent of winning. So that's why we saw from Arsenal early on in the game. They were high. They were controlling the game. They were momentum. There was everything, and it led to some chances. But let's break it all down. If we start with the first half, Arsenal were pressing, aggressive positioning, and not letting Manchester City settle. They didn't let them do that. They didn't let Arsenal. They didn't let Manchester City settle because Manchester City like to control games. They like to control games. They like to dictate momentum. You know what I mean? They like to slow the game down. They like doing that. But guess what? Arsenal said, "Nah, we're not here to do that. We're here to win. We're here to control, and that's key. Controlling the game is key because Manchester City normally they control you." And you have to settle for counters and all that. But Arsenal, they didn't let them do that. They didn't, and then that's how they get the chances, especially early on. They were pressing high, but you know what is gonna happen. One long ball. We said that so many times against Barcelona, so many times, so many times. One long ball and boom, you're done. You're done for it. Just like that. Just like that. All the work you have done, one long ball kills. One long ball kills the whole momentum. And that's what we saw. They were pressing. Arsenal was aggressive. They were doing everything that you wanted Arsenal to do in order to beat Manchester City. But one long ball to, I think it was Nunes. Someone, who was it? I forgot who it was. Someone gave long ball to Nunes. Nunes was, and he laid it down to Cherky. Oh, Cherky, man. He said, "Come here, sit down, see you later, relax. This is not your game. I'm taking this game by the neck. I'm stroking this game." And there it is. You don't need power when you get Cherky. You don't need finesse when you get Cherky. You don't need strength when you get Cherky. You don't need pace when you get Cherky because all you get is Cherky. That guy, man, he is so silky, easy, agile, and easy. He said, "Gabriel, relax. Compared to me, you're just a child. You can't stop this." And then basically a baby shot, Raya with no chance. And there it is, one chance. That's all they need. Manchester City just need one chance because they grew to the game and that's it. And they got what they wanted. But Arteta was smart today. He actually used his brain today. He said, "Press Donnarumma." They were pressing the hell out of Donnarumma. They were pressing, and then boom, there you go. It's gonna come. I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but there you go. Harvard with the finish, and Donnarumma with the stupid mistake. Just like that, Arsenal are level in the game, and the title is back on, and the fight is back on. Because normally the big games always disappoint. More often than not, they disappoint in the Premier League. I know the Premier League, you get a lot of upsets and all that. Big teams losing to small teams. We know all of that, all the entertainment. But when you see big games on paper, you should be getting what you should be getting. Because the Premier League usually don't deliver when it comes to big games. They always bottle it. They always bottle it, especially the big games. I know small teams usually upset big teams. They usually beat or draw. You know all that. We know all of that. But if you go to La Ligue, for example, you get the big teams, the big dogs, like the game we saw literally last week. Actually, Athletic versus Barcelona. That game was mamma mia. That game was crazy. But when it comes to the Premier League, we don't get that often. We don't get that often. If we actually had that, the Premier League would be the one of the best league by far. But they don't deliver. It's all about throw-ins and all that, blah blah blah, all that lame shit. You know what I mean? But if they actually come to play in the big games, if both teams come to play, they press, they try to score, and not think about losing and think about winning instead of losing or instead of coming there to draw. If you have the intent to win the game, if both teams had that intent, we would have had, oh mamma mia, we would have a lot of amazing games, and we would all sit down and say the Premier League is the best league on the planet, with no arguing, with no biasness, nothing. We would all agree on that. But it needs to deliver, man. It needs to deliver, especially in big games. Especially in big games. Because all we get is small teams playing like, man. But that's what we need. And that was that was the first half for you. And in the second half, I thought Arsenal was not gonna press as much, was not gonna they were gonna sit deep and wait for the counter and wait for the last chances, and they were gonna attack in the last 10, 20 minutes. But no, they came in with the same intent. They came in and they were pressing and they were attacking and they were winning the ball back. And I was like, wow, my team is in danger. I was like, wow, relax, Arsenal. But if we talk about in the second half, that second half had everything. That second half, it had everything you can think of. It had everything that you can think of. Because as soon as the second half started, it was Arsenal in the front foot. The first 20, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes, it was all Arsenal. It was all Arsenal, and they should have scored at least a goal or two. At least a goal. At least a goal, because the amount of chance they had, they could have scored 1, 2, even 3 goals within that 20, 15, around that time in the second half. They should have scored at least a goal, but they didn't. They had a chance, and they were like, let's get another chance, and they get another chance, and they said, let's go get another chance, and they get another chance. But no finish. But no finishing. I guess Gojorogic, the guy was not there. It was Harvard with a chance. It was Eze with a beautiful turn and a beautiful left-footed shot. I don't know how he generated that much power, but he cannoned it off the bottom of the post, and somehow he came out. And I was like, Arsenal, they came here to play. And there was a double save from Donnarumma. And Harvard should have scored that goal, should have scored that chance. Harvard should have came away with this game, with at least 2, maybe 3 goals. No, but he took off when he took off SD, the most dangerous player. He was finding somewhere like around packets around there, and that after that first 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and Arsenal missed two, three chances, big three chances. You knew Man City would get one chance. You knew Man City will just attack one time and then my boom. Especially if it falls to who? Erling Haaland, the robot. You know that guy only needs one chance. He don't need 10. He don't need 5. Just give him one chance and boom, he's gonna put that away. It's not like Harvard. It's not like Gyökeres. It's not like Sesko. He's not none of that. Just give him one chance and he will take it. He's not gonna help you build up. He's not gonna help you or do all of that. He might hold the ball for you, but that's it. Just give him the ball in the box and boom. He don't need to control because he can't dribble. He can't do none of that. Just he hit it. That's all he does. He's just gonna hit it. He's gonna finish it for you, and then that's it. We all know what was gonna happen. We all knew Man City's gonna get one chance because Arsenal were at the top. Arsenal was missing chances, and then there was one moment. General say made a save. It was I think it was yeah. Let's forget about that. He made a save, and then as soon as he looked up, he said, "Who's there? Who's there? Who do I give the ball to?" He was looking around, and then he saw O'Reilly with the whole pitch to himself. O'Reilly had the whole pitch to himself. The whole pitch. He had the whole pitch to himself. And I don't know why Arsenal was not trying to guard him. No one was with him. Literally, there was a bunch of what is it called? The whole field. Literally in the whole circle was just him. All this area on the left side. It was just him. And he said, "Come on, give me the ball, Donny. Give me the ball, Donnarumma. Donna, look at me." And Donnarumma just laid it off to O'Reilly. And O'Reilly just carried the ball, carried the ball, carried the ball, carried the ball, carried the ball. He was just carrying. He just went home with the ball, man. He went home with the ball. He just had it, man. He just took the ball, move. He was just carrying that like it was a child. And then boom. No one pressed. I was like, where's Arsenal? They're not even, because they were so high. They were pressing. They were getting chances because of that. But you knew one counter and then boom, they're gonna get hit. And then he laid it off. I think he gave it to Doku, and then Doku with a beautiful feint that he always does, and then he was able to find Haaland. It was the pass initially was to Rodri, but Rodri missed the ball because I think it was Saliba or Gabriel. One of them was pressuring him, or Mosquero, whoever it was. Someone was pressuring him, but he couldn't get the ball. So the ball landed to who? The one you wanted the ball to land. It was Erling Haaland. And it was who? Gabriel, who was the whole game. Gabriel and Saliba, they were like, you're not going nowhere, especially Gabriel. He was holding on to Haaland. And then there you go. Haaland was like, relax, my son. He held him off. And a beautiful finish. It was actually a beautiful finish because he was unbalanced. The beautiful left finish. And then there you go. Arsenal with the pressure. Arsenal with the momentum. But one counter, and that's it. Arsenal are 2-1 down. And Man City managed to hold down the lead, and they were able to win the game. And I was like, wow, Arsenal. I was like, wow, Arsenal, wow. Unlucky though, unlucky. This was a good game. This game had everything. It had fight. It had everything. They were at that last few minutes. They were going at it. Both teams were going at it. You had Haaland against Gabriel. They were going crazy at each other this whole game. And both teams had a lot of chances. Especially Arsenal had momentum. Arsenal had the better chances, and they couldn't finish. Especially for Kai Havertz, that last minute cross from who crossed it? Who crossed that? I think it was a beautiful cross by Trossard, I believe. It was Trossard. It was a beautiful cross. And it landed to who? It landed to this guy, man. It landed to this guy. Who else did you want it to land if you're an Arsenal fan? You wanted to land it to him. And it was around that area. You see? It was that one. Around that area. And then he missed. It was a header. Beautiful header, but not that one. It was around this time. Around this time. It was this time. You see? He should have scored that. He should have scored that. That was a beautiful cross by Trossard. And it was just, the header was good, but it's just bad placement. The placement was so bad. The beautiful header. And just like that, Manchester City with 2-1. Manchester City won the game. Manchester City might as well win the title. There's a lot of games to play. There's like 6 games to play, or 5 games each, I believe. And one of them will drop points. One of them will definitely drop points, or both of them will drop points. It's just a matter of who. And I can't wait if this game ends. If this game comes down to goal difference. I actually want to see that. The last time I saw that was, I don't even remember, man. It was a long time ago. But I actually want to see this. If one lose, the other one will want to lose. The other one should lose. I want both of them to lose. If one loses, I want the other one to lose a game. If one team to draw, I want the other team to draw. I want it to go to the last day. Last day. That's when I wanted this to go to. And what a game we had, man. Especially for neutral. If you're neutral, if you don't care who wins, this was entertaining game. And this was entertaining game. Yeah. I don't know who's gonna win the title. I don't know who's gonna lose. I don't know who's gonna draw points until the end of the season. But I'm gonna leave you like that. Peace out. Subscribe. Like.